Sasha is at her tent with her partner Tommy. She is mending her fingers from all the climbing they have been doing. They are currently in the middle of a height. The sun is out and she asks him to get ready to continue climbing. They restart, enjoying playfully ascending the snowy mountains. However, soon, Sasha trips and falls. It's nothing serious, and she is frustrated because this is the spot she always gets stuck at. Tommy asks her to relax and take her time. She tries again, but it's the same result. Tommy says they should call it a day and try later, but Sasha doesn't want to stop and tries more and more, but doesn't succeed. A storm is forming, and she eventually decides to give up for the time being. In the camp, Tommy expresses his concern about her fearlessness. He feels he doesn't have many more trips left in him. She says he always says this when things get a little tough. However, he says luck is something that will eventually run out. It's what his luck compass is saying. She puts it aside angrily. Eventually, they decide to get down. They watch the storm as it makes debris fall from above. They decide to get into the walls, keeping their heads low. Tommy wants to get a little lower, for there is a ledge down that is much safer. She gets down first, and soon bigger mountain rocks begin to fall. One of them hits Tommy, and he falls. Sasha holds him. She screams he is pulling both of them down and asks him to wake up, but he doesn't. Gradually, she can't hold her rope anymore, and Tommy falls all the way down. She watches him die, unable to do anything, and holds on to her own life. 5 months later in Australia, Sasha drives to camp in the canyons. She carries Tommy's compass with her. She reaches the ranger's office, and the officer asks if she is going in alone. He recommends against it, and shows that so many people who have gotten into the jungle haven't returned. However, Sasha decides to sign it anyway. She heads into a supermarket, and a guy says hello. She responds, hey, and tries avoiding him, but he follows her around. There's also his friend, and together they hold her off by the cash counter. Another guy at the counter wonders about how his beef jerky is selling. He sees the guys and tells them she probably has all she needs. The guys leave her alone, and he further apologizes on their behalf. He leaves, and Sasha buys 1 pack of his beef jerky. Later outside, when she is in the car having a hard time understanding the map, she notices the guy nearby and calls for his help. He asks her if she would like the easy way or the hard way, and Sasha responds, just the best way. He shows her the road and also recommends his preference, which is to start at Blackwater Bay, and the best camping area is nearby. It is usually empty since not many know of it. Sasha sets off on her journey. As the evening falls, she camps by a lake. She carries a pepper spray with her. To her misfortune, the guys from the market also drive in. They are a group of hunters who came to camp after hunting a deer. They invite her over, but she avoids them and gets into her car. Soon, the guy comes in front of her window with his creepy smile and says that they are just trying to be nice. He leaves. At night, Sasha hears they are leaving and is finally relieved. In the morning, she gets her raft out and embarks on the river. She flows with a high current. She stops to climb up and jump into the river and enjoy the time. She eventually heads near Blackwater Bay and sees the belongings of the campers who had probably gone missing. She sits by the lake and has set up her camp. She eats some of the beef jerky. She hangs her belongings high up in the tree. She sleeps through the night, and upon getting out in the morning, she finds that her bag is gone. She is further scared to see a snake inside her tent. She takes the raft and drives a little further when she comes across a den, appearing someone is living there currently. She soon finds the person, and it's the polite guy from market. They are both happy to see each other, and he introduces himself as Ben. She tells him her name. He asks if she is having fun, and she expresses how her bag got taken away by something. She had her phone and her food inside. He says it's probably the wombats, and says he always carries twice as much as he needs. He can share some of his own. She thanks him for it, and he wonders if she is hungry. He offers her some fish, and despite her denial, he insists. She sits down. He begins to prepare the fish. He is curious seeing that she tried his beef jerky called Janos. She asks why the name is Janos, and he tells her it's after his mother's. He shows how he collects fresh water from the trees. He lets her drink from it. She asks where he is from, and he replies that his mom brought him here when he was a kid. She guesses he is from Britain. He laughs and stabs the fish, saying she is right. He can guess that she is a mountain climber, when Sasha says she is done with climbing. He supposes it's because of a breakup. She used to climb with her partner, and they broke up, which led her to camp by the rivers. She says that's wrong. She wants to stay out of all the noise in the world. While speaking of noise, she brings up the topic of how the hunters from the market were by her campsite the previous night. Ben says most hunters are not like that. The good ones respect the wilderness and make use of what they hunt. It's not an excuse to drink with friends. She says they were not that dangerous, just trying to scare her. He says he knows and saw how she handled them pretty perfectly. It quiets Sasha down. He continues that she did not give them an excuse to hurt her. Sasha asks what he's talking about. He says he was there. He thought maybe she could use a hand being a woman alone in the woods. He bursts into laughter and says she is special just like his mom. Sasha puts the plate down and decides to quietly leave. He stops her, and she notices her bracelet on him. He gets inside his den, throws her a bag, and gets out with a crossbow and a speaker. He plays a song. He says he has restocked all her essentials and checking out her shoes. He says she will be fine. She has got the time till the song ends to run as far as she can from him. He then begins to dance. Sasha takes the bag and runs out. She reaches her raft and paddles her way to the river. She drops through a waterfall and hits her head under the water. She loses her raft and swims to the shore. She runs again through the jungle and climbs up the rocks. She hears the sounds of people chattering. She asks for help as she climbs, only to find it is a video playing on a phone. It's the missing family who says hi to Ben. Soon an arrow hits near her. Ben appears over the cliff. She instantly runs off again. She flies through the jungle while Ben is after her. He continues shooting his arrows from the side as Sasha continues to escape. She runs further, and this time an arrow pierces through her bag and she falls off the cliff. She rolls all the way down to the river. She gets her head out and tries to swim against the current, but the water takes her through the canyons. She reaches the low current and gets herself on the ground. She searches the bag and puts on her t-shirt. She finds something to eat and drinks some water. She also gets her pepper spray out and keeps it within reach. She runs again and finds herself in between the dark gorges again. She decides to use her skills and climb up. The lack of practice and not having any equipment makes her falter a little bit, but she manages to carefully get up. She rises in the open daylight. She can see the whole place from this spot. She begins to walk again and stops by a tree. She gets out her binoculars and looks at her raft. She soon hears the hunting scream of Ben that drives off the birds. She points that way and finds out Ben is running to her. She halts and then decides to look again, only to find Ben standing still, staring right at her with a smile. She instantly takes off once more, being chased by the hunter. She gets down from where she climbed up. She hides herself between the rocks so as not to be visible. She struggles to hold on still. Ben has appeared there. He looks down, but she is out of his vision. Eventually Ben leaves, and she quietly gets herself out of there once more. She begins to sprint through the jungle again. She reaches a spot where she can hear music playing. She uses the binoculars again and sees the raft. Ben is near diving into the water naked. Seeing the condition, Sasha decides to get into the water. She silently swims towards the raft and eventually reaches it. She tries to get rid of the knot, but fails and decides to uproot it. She heads to the ground, but there's a trap down in the water that gets her leg. Her scream alerts Ben, and he puts on his trousers quickly to head there instantly. Sasha gets on the shore to get the pole out, but seeing him running to her, she dives back into the water helplessly. He pulls her through the chain when Sasha uses her pepper spray on him. She then tries to get the chain off but is stuck to the rock. Ben washes off his eyes in the river. Sasha sees the crossbow over the rock, but before she can grab hold of it, he pulls her in. He drags her to him, and this time, before she grabs a spray, he takes in the crossbow. He asks her to toss the spray, and she does so. He throws it away and slowly approaches her leg to get the trap off. He frees her leg and tells her to get up. She asks if he's playing a game. He replies, "It's not a game, it's a ritual."
At night, when it rains, Sasha remains at the same spot as Ben keeps on watching her from a distance. He says rituals are very important. They remind us of who we are. He asks if she knows of the tribe who file down their own teeth to sharp points. The next morning they're on the boat, and she asks where he is taking her. He responds that he will tell her later. She asks if he's not going to explain the rules this time, while trying to get rid of the tie. He says he got her name from a ranger's register and did some research. He knows about her partner's passing in mountains. She says it was just an unfortunate accident. However, Ben says he read that he was really experienced, and it doesn't make much sense. Sasha says things can happen, as she spots an iron